What's up, guys? Welcome to our very first podcast for a Dig Through Time CDH. I'm Weiss Games. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm, here with our wonderful other co-host, Ashani, or Jamaican dude.
Hello, friends.
Hello, hello. So we've come here and, we decided that we've collectively agreed upon that we're considered part of the old generation of CDH players. We came in before the Dockside bans, and we've gotten to see the format grow from what it was to what it is now, and we decided to give like a more of a old men's take on the format, and some history lessons and all that. But speaking of history lessons, let's talk about origins. Shawnee, do you want to talk about your origins into Magic and CDH?
Sure, we'll keep it spicy. Starting Cons of Tarkir, played Standard for a while, then went to Modern, did the Modern grind for maybe 2 years, then after Modern, Standard rotated. Since then, it was a 1 year format. Okay, and I was like, I need an eternal format that wasn't Modern, because Modern was really expensive to buy in at the time.
Still is, I think.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, cool, let's do Commander. Commander started, and our first Commander deck was Omnath, Red Green Omnath.
Angry Jelly Bean.
Angry Jelly Bean. And started out playing like table with my stepson and his friends, and went from there, and we graduated, got competitive, started the arm race. They didn't really keep up at the kitchen table, so went to an FNM. Was doing FNM since Standard. Just powering up. Now still, we started an arm race at our local shop. Back then, it was, I think I can remember the decks, Monogreen Silvala, Mimeoplasm, and Narset.
OG Narset.
Yeah. OG Narset. Those were like always the guys in the final pod. There were turn 3 and turn 4 and people back then, because we still had Mana Crypt and all those stuff in the format. So those were the degenerate group. I wasn't doing, I would be in like the final pod as that one random guy that didn't do anything and just die on turn 2 or turn 3. But if they all counterspelled each other, just like nowadays, I was that deck. If I get to turn 5 uninteracted, I could win the game, but the problem was nobody let Omnath resolve, so got frustrated. They're a Mana Commander, so why would they let it resolve?
Yeah, right.
So started us piling up from there. Started CDH on Skype. That's how we played.
That's blast from the past right there.
Played Magic on Skype. That's when we really started playing Magic. Or not Magic, but Commander, when the local scene wasn't giving me that itch anymore. Started out on Skype, and then from Skype we graduated to Discord. Jordan, the guy called Timothy 1000, he was probably the reason webcam Magic even exists.
Mm-hmm.
He was calling actual companies to figure out how to do webcam calls. Back in the day, we used to do Zoom calls to play like first CDH tournaments. We're talking about like, wow, Twisted Tournament.
That's a name I ain't heard in a long time.
Those were the Mystic Remoras. Did those on Zoom calls and Skype calls, and yeah, it was way back. And then we're here where we are now. Spell Table dominated for a while, and now we're on the Convoke. So.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Convoke is I want to say Convoke has really outpaced Spell Table in the short time it's been here.
In the short span it's been here. And I don't even know why it does. The card reader is still shit.
So the difference in the Convoke's card reader and Spell Tables is what people need to start doing is, instead of just continuously clicking on the card, you actually get to help the AI.
By tapping in, yeah.
By saying, yeah, that's not the right card. Here's the card that I'm clicking on, and then it actually it learns better.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's my fault. I should have never saw that option. But yeah, that's where pretty much it started to where it is now.
Okay.
I won't say I was the forerunner, but I would say that I was part of seeing CDH grow as a community. The Laboratory Maniacs were the go-to CDH content creator in my time. And then after the Laboratory Maniacs, then I would say that I was part of the God, I don't want to stroke my own ego, but most influential Discord
I think it's fair that you can say that. 100%.
And that was
like,
Nexus. think Nexus was part
Nexus
of a lot.
shaped.
Yeah.
Nexus shaped what CDH is.
Yeah, I think Nexus shaped what CDH is. People can disagree or agree, but that's what I believe. We had our own house rules that people hated, but hey, it was a private group, so
It was the original Cool Clips Club.
it was an original Cool Kids Club. Yep, that everybody wanted to join. But yeah, that was my journey, and it continued and fell off, and now here we are.
Yeah.
What's yours?
So I'm, obviously, like we both know that I'm not second generation, but I like to consider myself third generation of the CDH players. I started like back in 2022, 2021-ish era. I really didn't get, like, I got into Commander around the Innistrad pre-cons when they was big. I remember I went to an LGS that had just started, and I was just there to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Of all games. I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Nerd in high school. Played, did the regionals and all that, and I stopped all like card games when I got into college and joined the fire department. I guess I didn't have time anymore. Got a little bit older. I want to say about 23, 24. Until about 24 years old in 2022, and like honestly just like picked it up, started playing a little bit. I want to say I moved to a different LGS that had somebody that was in the CDH scene. He was a very big contender. Just Ice on Discord. He doesn't really play much now, but he's still in tournaments and all that. He got me into CDH, and I proxied out. The deck that I ended up sticking with was Kyler, the Guardian Emissary, which was a human, Silesian human counters deck. And just like you, like I didn't like the fact that, people in casual just wanted to see what the deck does. And I was like, no, man, I want to do my thing. I want to win. I don't want to see you do yours. And so I was doing things like anything that had a badass effect then was human went to the deck. So Captain Sisay, Azusa, the whenever you cast
Lost but Seeking.
Yeah, and then the mono green, you cast a legendary, you draw a card, creature, human dude. Yeah, I had like a lot of token making. Like I had like an Anointed Procession, Doubling Season, like anything that my win con was Siona, Captain of the Pyles, and Shielded by Faith combo with a Altar of the Brood out, and I just milled my opponents out and passed. It was. For a 5-minute commander, it was a turn 4 deck very, very easily, because even if I didn't do it like with the infinite combo, like because Kyler, he grew bigger for each human that entered the battlefield, and he gave humans +1/+1s for the number of counters he got. So like it was not hard for me to swing with like 15 like 20/20s, So it got to the point where my LGS over the one spot didn't want to play with me anymore because they was all still casual. They didn't believe in proxies. They didn't, It was to the point to where like the owner of the LGS would call the cops if you try to bring a proxy into a store.
Wow.
It was one of those. Went over to another one, met Just Ice, and they was playing CDH, and I decided to sit down with good old Kyler thinking that I was ready for it. Got my cheeks clapped. One right after another. Did not let my commander resolve, did not let anything. But instead of leaving like fuck this and all that, I left. I was like, I want to do this. I want to be like, better. And so I've been thinking, I've been looking. I tried for months trying to get Kyler to be CDH until I finally this can't happen. So I proxied up old Stick Fingers of all decks.
Sticky Fingers.
Stick Fingers.
Nice.
Turbo News Fingers, turn 2 or bust.
Yep.
And I think that's cemented in the kind of playstyle I was gonna keep for the years to come for a while. Didn't really like get any of the cards for it. After I stopped going to the LGS for a couple of reasons, and I found online Spell Table, and I found a company called Chaos Tournaments that was doing monthly tournaments and had a league. Well, I pulled together enough cards and enough proxies to make Captain Sisay, the original Captain Sisay, not 5 color, but green-white. And I started playing with that, and I started doing tournaments with it. And the best I got with it was like my second Chaos tournament. I went 2-3, so I got like 20th place out of like 90 something people. And I was like, okay, I'm not fast enough, because this is around the time where like Atraxa was getting big, and like Orcish Bowmasters had just came out, so everybody that was running black was running that damn card.
Yeah.
Toxic Deluge was huge. So I'm like, I have to be able to go faster than these cards or play a deck that wasn't gonna let me be screwed. So I looked into a card from New Capenna. This little commander, his name was Rocco, Cabaret Caterer, and I was like, this is my deck. This is the deck that I'm going to make good. it was a decent deck. It wasn't on the map at the time I picked it up, and then I started playing. I started really getting into the deck. Started really brewing. I think if you look at the deck list now, there's like 180 cards in the considering. Each one has 50 games on each card. Like just straight cooking all the time. And then started top 16ing, started top 4ing. I think I ran into you one day, believe it or not, over at Chaos, and we was talking about Canlander. You was talking about Canadian Highlander. And then I met some other people in our group, which was the original people of the Nexus or the Reflecting Pool. LJ, Vanguard of Tress, Jacoby, all of them. And then what do you know, we turned out me and you are locals technically in our play group. So we got together, started brewing, and now I'm on, one of 2 different decks that we've been trying to make good. I think Hullen is the main one right now, and then also Yoshi Thras, I think I'm going to switch over to for the next tournament. But yeah, no, that's my journey. Made Rocco good. Other people started playing Rocco, decided that my style wasn't the way for the deck anymore, so I bowed out on the brew mastering of it, and now I'm brewing other ones, making them good.
Didn't know that happened. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I said, me and you both, we've both joined around the time of like what we like to call the old guard days, right? So like before the biggest change in between players before and players after a certain ban was it used to be Flash.
Yes.
Like, you would hear all the time, like, man, back in the Flash days, it was so different. Well, now you don't even hear that anymore. What's the main thing we hear nowadays when we talk about older players and newer players?
I don't even know. I think it's the now thing is just the slop, right?
That's the slop, and also I hear it all the time. Just if there was Dockside still in this meta, it would be crazy. That's what I hear.
I hear that a lot. I hear JLo. Because listen, as an enjoyer of Dockside, I despise that card. Never liked it. I preferred, if I would choose an evil of all the bannings that have happened, Hall Breacher, top of the list. That card destroyed so many of my favorite decks.
So let me ask you a question. Now that we're in the slot meta that we are, do you think Hull Breach is a necessary evil we need?
No, I hate that card. I despise that magic card so much. Because Hull Breacher was the thing of you turbo Hull Breacher and then you sit there for the next 4 turns doing nothing.
Okay.
That was the problem with Hull Breacher. You just sit there, cast a wheel, we make a bunch of treasures. I have 7 cards and all the mana. You have no cards. Let me sit here and figure out a way to win. That doesn't happen. Okay, cool. It made for boring magic.
Okay.
After Hull Breacher was Dockside. Because everybody, number 1 rapid CDH was artifacts. Dockside punishes you for playing the game.
So I think here's my thing. Because I joined in right before the Orchestral Master became big, and you saw the meta shift really big when Bowmasters dropped. Mm-hmm. It went from Dork decks were on top to now anything that had green on it was considered subpar except for Kinnan.
Correct.
And maybe a little bit of Sisay sometimes. I fully believe that, at that point in time, Dockside, the reason why Dockside wasn't an issue at the time was because if you look back on some of the games that you would see before Orchestral Masters, Dockside didn't make these 7 mana, 7 treasures, 8 treasures on turn 2, because people was able to play Dorks, and, they was able to keep their mana a while. But Orchestral Masters came out, everybody slotted it in, and it came to a point where I can't play a card that I'm not even going to be able to get any value out of before it dies, so I'm just going to play this rock. Well, okay, you're going to play your rock. Now let me just Dockside for 700 on turn 4, turn 3, win the game, True. And I honestly think that it's a 2-part problem with Dockside, and I think Bowmasters is the other side to that problem.
Okay. I can agree with that argument, but I just know before Bowmasters it was just because I was in the house of Defacrat City.
Yeah, you loved your Shurikai.
I was Shurikai and Narset. It was just any mana. This was a brown Jeskai deck, as much as you want to call it. And
Jorah, the original Jorah, not the one that we see nowadays. The 4-mana Jorah was really good at the time. Cole surprisingly was a decent deck at the time. I didn't see it winning any tournaments, but I did hear a lot of talk about it that it was surprisingly good. And then like I said, yeah, all these decks all of a sudden just became unviable because this little 2-mana pirate drops down turn 2 at the latest sometimes and just gives the other player a game. Decks that shouldn't even be on the table was winning because Dockside was a thing.
Oh yeah, and I was always so angry at people that played their artifacts when they didn't need to. It was the worst thing where
yeah.
Here this Mox Opal and this Mox Amber on
but
turn
I'm playing
0
Tivit.
when you're playing Tivit. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? Do you not know Dockside is in the meta? Because maybe they will. So just eat the wheel, bro. Eat the rocks. No, gotta play my rocks. And then he just died to a Dockside. Make it 4, and then after Dockside, here this clone.
There's many times.
Here's this. I'm like, okay, now we're just there because they're netting money into that nausea.
There's been many a times that I played on seat 4 on Rocco where people would just poop out their rocks for no reason.
Yeah, you just
untapped and everything, and then I'll just untap. Okay, here's a turn 1 Dockside. Here's Food Chain. Here's the win. Like
crazy.
Like Dockside definitely. Like I said, Dockside was a problem, and I think it was the right ban. But I do think that Dockside became a bigger problem because of Orchestral Masters. But yeah, and I agree. Like I said, at the point of this topic is like one. There's been a couple of things that are really big in CDH. Is our view upon the meta versus the newer players' view. You know, the ones that have only been here a couple of months, they have their opinions, and a lot of them are good opinions for the current meta. But when we talk about things like our main topic today is probably the upcoming ban and restriction list, and then also like what we've kind of like, you know, people have been kind of like talking about is like with these new teams, these new, you know, professional teams and all that. What it entails for the future of CDH. I think we could start with either the ban and restriction list, or we can go straight into the meat of the potatoes and just have a cleanup for the ban and restricted list. What do you think?
That's such a good question. I don't know what for the team thing. I love the team. I love the team idea. How can I say this? I love the team idea. I don't like what the team does. You know what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're saying. Basically, like it's a great idea because a lot of successful sports, and we are technically an esport, they have teams and professional people and, you know, groups, but that entails a clique system almost, where, as in, I can remember before teams were even a thing, when we went to LobbyCon at tournaments, dude, it was up for grabs for anybody to play with anybody. You know, you could have the high rollers in your table with you, just having fun and all that. And it's so, and in the last couple of terms I went to, the Land Go Open for 2025 and 2026, and, you know, a couple of other tournaments, like, it felt like if you didn't rep that team, they didn't LobbyCon with you, or they're so busy, you know, getting things together for their team that they wasn't, you know, doing anything. So I think it comes with a double-edged sword. I think, like, teams are good to represent CDH, but they're also bad to show inclusivity.
They're good yeah. I just want to echo what you said on that part. It's good for that. It's good for deck building. It's good for brewing. It's good for building new strategies. Love all of that of it. It just, I hate it's now a click thing, right? It's always, you know, are you part of this group? Okay, now that group is going to have this. And yes, it was like that back then also, but instead of everyone staying at the Airbnb, everybody would drive to LobbyCon instead of staying at the Airbnb playing Magic. We would drive to the LobbyCon and then play Magic at LobbyCon with everybody else.
Yeah, you still had your group photos. Yeah, you still had your group photos.
Yeah, and then you do all of that, but now I haven't been part of the experience, but what I've been hearing, and you have been part of that experience, that is not like that anymore. It's not it's a community thing. It's like, you know, it's a clicky thing.
And don't get me wrong. Let me preface this by saying, like, I do not think that they're purposely doing this, right? I don't think Team Monolith or Team Zenith or Pinnacle is doing this on purpose. I think the issue is like, now because they've became such a prolific teams and all this, that a lot of people are kind of like,
that's what your friends are. So it's just like, oh, we're a team, but we're friends. So I'm just gonna hang with my friends, and you know, it's not like you're hanging with other people too.
I would say, as somebody that has seen both sides of the coins in the recent years of being the new player trying to fit in. Because, like, let's be honest, if I was a new player whenever I joined with y'all back then, if teams was a thing, I would not be in the group that I'm in now. I wouldn't be with the Nexus Demons, as we call ourselves now. It is definitely, and there are certain things that, like, kind of like mitigate it really well, like Critical EDH League, that they definitely do mitigate it. There are still some servers I think that are still active other than the Critical League, but I think it's still I want to say it stemmed from the Cabal back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Everybody wanted to be a part of the Cabal, and not a lot of people could, so they made their own team, and then they made their own team, and then Monolith became the first, like, professional team. Yeah, and we've heard this backstory from Jordan many a times where it was just a team to help practice.
A practice squad, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still great. Like, I do think it has more positives than negatives. Like, it still shows that the format's growing because more and more people are striving for that and making themselves better. I know myself, I'm kind of striving to get part of the Pinnacle team eventually, or maybe eventually starting our own. But at the same time, I would love to see a little bit more like cross interaction that's outside of, like, the Creators Clash and the Team Clash and all that. I would like to see everybody just sit down outside the tournament. No, they don't have their uniforms on. They're just, plain clothed and just having fun and goofing off again. Like, and that's what I would love to, because, like, I've talked to so many newer players, and it's crazy to think. So, a little backstory at the 2026 LAN Go here recently that we had, there's a kid that he had just started playing like a couple of months, and he was so starstruck whenever he heard that Pigeon was going to be in the tournament. He wanted to get a signature on his rail by Pigeon, and I'm thinking, like, man, like, back in the day, me and Pigeon, we used to cut it all the time, like late night, him on Magda, me on Rocco, playing with Chaos and J-Dog, and of course you and LJ just cutting up, having fun, and just goofing off. And now, because Pigeon has done so well and he's part of Team Zenith and all that, he's now one of those, for lack of better terms, celebrity players. And that's great. That's awesome. I'm glad. I'd love to hear the growth of the brother. And he's a main example of what I'm talking about. Like, you can be a high roller, but you can still play with your friends and not have to be connected to one point, because he plays with everybody, and that's one thing I love about the dude, is like he doesn't let the fame get to him.
It's good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, other than that, like, I mean, I guess the question would be is, like, for the future of CDH, do you think that teams ought to be a bigger part of it, or do you think that we should, like, send it back to where it was, you have these special teams and, like, but the mainstay of the group is just, free agents, on quote unquote, and
free agents. Wow, that's a thing. Got a draft system going. We could draft from.
Honestly, do you think that'd be a good one? Like, for the 2027 CDH season, Team Monolith drafts Whis games for their turbo player, or
they're trading off this player to get more salary cap. That's hilarious. No, I think the team thing should continue.
I do too.
The problem with the team thing is just the gathering part of Magic, but on the playing, the actual card game I think is a great thing. The only problem with that part of Magic now, the gameplay of teams, is the collusion. And
that's a very big topic.
I think that's going to flesh itself out eventually.
Yeah, my question is do you think some of these teams do collude?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, I can see that. Well, I mean, like, I guess the question is, what would you do with collusion? Because, like, I mean, there's been many times where, like, we would, if our group of people, if we sat down in the same pod, we would look at each other and be like, we need to make this game be a tie because we know how toxic we'll be together. And for anybody who has not played in a game with me and Ashani, it is a heated conversation between us sometimes.
This is what I think. Maybe it's a hot take. This is what I think the community needs to learn. There's a difference between a person in the game and a person outside the game.
Yes.
We're not the same people. When you're competing, no matter if we're friends or not, we're here to compete. And if we're competitive, of a competitive mindset, you cannot hold what I would do or say in a game to our outside relationship.
that has definitely become a big problem. Is like
That has become a huge problem.
I remember games like we would cuss each other out. Like
Absolutely.
people would think that we was enemies, and then like the game's over, we're dapping up, we're hugging, and we're like, good game, but fuck you, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
And
I don't think people are like, I want to say they want to make the game morally fun and correct. But if you want to be competitive, I don't think you can have sportsmanship. You can be nice to your opponents and be respectful. I'm not crossing that line. But other than that, I think is too much.
I think you should be allowed to trash talk without worrying about people, you know, calling a judge on you. I mean, I get it. Like, you know, like Commander is a social format, but in all reality, like when we sit down for CDH, the social format of it is we're all trying to win. We shouldn't have a hangover like, well, you're allowed to win, but you can't win like this or you can't win like that. You know, like, I mean, and the biggest thing, and I think that we should talk about is the lying part of CDH. Like, is lying an actual problem in CDH? Know me.
That's a whole episode. That's a whole episode. Yeah, go ahead.
But you know me. I do not partake in lying. I will. In the terms of one of our players say, I will gaslight you into thinking what you're doing is the wrong play so I can win. But I will not outright say, oh no, I won't do that, and then do the thing I won't do. But I also don't think that we should crucify people that do that.
Agreed. I have, thank God, the cancel culture has died down with that a little bit. No, I think it has.
I mean, so we all know our good friend Cowboy Bob.
Yeah, did Bob get canceled? Bob didn't get canceled.
They tried. He got somebody got bobbed and put it on the internet. You know, hey, this guy is a liar and all that, and and
he got trolled out of the building, pretty much. He got trolled off Twitter. Like, you're believing Bob in 2026 is ridiculous. Like, he got trolled out.
Bob's our best friend, and we're like, no, like he's a great guy out of the game.
Bob is a great guy, but in a game, I ain't believing a damn thing come out of that boy's mouth.
That boy might show me 7 cards. I know you got 8. Like,
exactly. Like, dude, show me the card you're hiding. Like, I don't believe you. I don't care. I don't even care if the 7th card said Lance on it. I don't believe you.
Yeah, that 8th one is the win card. That's what you're not.
Exactly. Like, I don't. It's the same thing. And that's fine. Like, I get it. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I understand. But here's another thing that I don't think people want to actually agree to. Did you have a response to that anyways?
Exactly.
Nobody wants to bring that point up. They just want to say, he lied to me. And because what he lied to me is, then he's a bad guy.
At the end of the day, you decided.
Could you have stopped it? No, you couldn't have. You just felt bad.
Or you decided that you was going to let him resolve a grand abolisher. I'm sorry, even if it's the most truthful person in the world, I will help you protect your stuff, but I'm not going to let you have a grand abolisher. That means I can't do anything at all, you know? So, like, I think that people think because they get got that they should be allowed to cancel the person that got them. In all reality, it is they need to realize that Magic is a mental game as much as it is a card game. You need to be able to read what is it you like to say? Soul read your opponents?
Yeah.
You need to be able to soul read your opponents. For example, I was playing in a match on Holland with a Tim Dargo player, and he had shown me part of his hand like the turn before his, and it was basically Entomb with Reanimate on it. And he's an older Tim Dargo player, so he still plays PETA, and so he plays Ranger Captain and cracks it. And so like I did a soul read because I had a Smothering Tithe out. I was like, I wonder if this is what's gonna happen. So what I do is I had no creatures on board. I only had a Smothering Tithe. It was only a Smothering Tithe, and I think I had a Dork. I had one Dork because it was a Guy's Cradle Dork. It was like a turn 2 Smothering Tithe. There's a Dork, a Mana Vault, and Smothering Tithe with a Guy's Cradle out. I brought the Guy's Cradle away for a emergent zone when he cracked Ranger Captain, and then I let it resolve. And he went through the Hoarding Brood line, the Brood Lord line with the PETA. And so I was able to get 43 treasures, and then he tapped out to cast a Pyretic Ritual, and I was able to go over the top and win because I soul read that he was going to do the PETA line and not I forget which one. The Saw and Half line, right? And so being able to soul read your opponents is going to keep you away from getting got. And I think a lot of more newer players need to understand that. But I think that comes in time. Because, like,
that comes in practice.
yeah. But yeah, no. Yeah, so, yeah. As we've said, I do think that teams are really good for the format. I don't think that the idea of teams is healthy for new players, but I do think it's worth keeping around because I'm sure it's going to evolve into something even better than it is now. It just needs to iron out the kinks.
Yeah, that draft system's so kind of hot though. Maybe we should.
Yeah. Hashtag 2027 draft, guys. Let's make it happen.
I get this guy on Team Pinnacle, bro. I don't even know who is on Team Pinnacle.
It is Corbin, Hebrew Hercules, Matt, which is another local, and a couple.
The homies, huh?
Yeah, a couple others. Which, I mean, I gotta get my win rate up. It's only at a 25% win rate, so I need to get up a little bit more.
It's a standard, too. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So, but yeah, let's just try and move on to our next topic: bans and restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
What's your hot takes for it?
This is a conversation that goes in a circle all the time. That people just want Mana Crypt and JLo back. And listen, I'm here for you, but I just need you to understand we're never getting Mana Crypt back. Not happening. You can state your points if you want. The community destroyed the idea of us ever getting Mana Crypt. We might get JLo because JLo was is a commander specific card and not an eternal format thing. So there's a world that might give us that back. But Mana Crypt is never returning. Darkside, I don't think they'll go back on Darkside. There might be a world they will, but if they do, sure. What I would like to see, for my own selfish reason, I want them to unban. It's not Hercules Recall. Is it Hercules Recall? Whatever the card that target player draws 3 cards.
Ancestral Recall.
Ancestral Recall.
Which I think that's fair because, like, 100% that can get deflected, swatted, redirect to lightning.
I think
there's so much things that can change that. You know,
I think Ancestral Recall is not too powerful. For like a probation period, I would like them to try Gristlebrand and Young Moss Bargain for like probation, like a month.
That's what the Game Changers is, I believe.
Yeah, like give it a month, see how it like works out, and then like do whatever you want with it. Another card I would like to see would be what's the name of that magic card? Remember the name? I'll give you Prime Time, bro. Green needs something.
I was about to say, so I was gonna say for mine is definitely Prime Time. I think Prime Time. It's what, 6 mana, 7 mana.
6.
I mean, yeah, I can see where people's like, well, it could be so broken in Rock Dress. Okay, that's one deck. You know, like
6 mana.
Is it 6 or is it 7?
6. 4 colorless, 2 green.
Yeah, because like in all honesty, if stuff like that was crazy, we would see more decks with Nyx Bloom Ancient in it. Like, you know, and we don't. You know, Mixed Bloom Ancient is really only playable in Kinnan because you can flip into it. Which, don't get me wrong, if you're able to clone a Nyx Bloom Ancient, you're making 14 mana off of one freaking, or 9 mana off of one.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's less broken than Prime Time.
No, it's not. Because the lands come in there from Prime Time.
Mm-hmm.
No, lie.
Now, if it was in Lumra,
how it comes in, how it comes in.
It comes
Some
in
decks would like it, but it's mono green, bro. Who cares?
Yeah, it's mono green. It's gonna help all these green decks that just need a little leg up, and it has a good, you know, 6 mana. Yeah, even though green's able to produce a lot of mana, it's still a big investment for it to possibly get oppo or stopped, or, you know, like I could see a world where if it does get unbanned with Gristlebrand, that mana drain starts becoming a big thing again. You know, like mana drain used to be big back when the big commanders used to be played a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that coming back. We do have Strict Serenade now. We have more viable options of, you know, like, counters to stop creatures, especially if you put a lot of mana into them than we used to.
Another one. Is it Tinder? And my goodness, blue creature or blue spell, put an artifact into play at the end. Tinker. Love to see they give Tinker a try.
Yeah, I think Tinker would be a good one too. So my big ones that I want to see: Fastbond. I want to see Channel get a chance to be played. Fastbond is the 1 mana enchantment. You can play extra lands if you pay a life per land.
Is that how Fastbond reads? That's how Fastbond put that Mana Bond. Fastbond put all your lands into play, right?
Yeah, Mana Bond is what you're thinking of.
Okay.
Fastbond is you can play an extra land but you have to pay a life for each extra land you play.
That's cool.
Which it takes away the disbalance of like, well, I'm not in this color, so I obviously don't like, if you're not in this color, you don't need your life total. And I think it really opens it up to like more people are going to be like a prioritized, and I think it evens out because less people are getting hard targeted if they're in Grixis shells to where they can't play the game anymore because people constantly target them with attacks and damage and all that. And also at the same time, I don't think it's so broken anymore because, dude, we're talking about decks that play like less than 24 lands half the time. You know,
Yeah, like, the CDH would need a like, shake up. If that's
I'm in a commander that likes its lands because it reads draw a card, play a land, and I'm still only on 28. And that's a lot to some.
I'm playing a control deck at the moment, and for some reason, I'm on 24 lands, and I'm thinking about cutting one more.
Oh my
and that's
gosh,
wild, bro. I haven't been under 28 lands in so many years.
You know, and it's just like, yeah, fast bond and channel 100%. I do think can come off. Unban Prophet of Kruphix.
Okay, stop it. You're going to the busted.
No.
No,
because
I will not entertain this. No,
it's 5 mana. It doesn't have flash. It automatically it's gonna get the same. It would get the same treatment as Seaborn Muse does, which is gonna be like either, you know, if you resolve a Seaborn Muse, you're either just winning the game or you're getting stopped. You know, and like if we already, the only difference between Seaborn Muse and Kruphix is it gives you creature flash, which can help some of the blue decks can't play a lot of like instant speeds because like most of the instant speed interactions are non-creature only.
The problem is blue-green. Do we need to make Kinnan any better, sir?
No matter what we decide to take to put in, unless it's a mono black or mono white or mono red card or in those 3 colors, it's gonna make Kinnan better. So like I don't think we can.
What strategy would you like to see that Prophet of Kruphix would power up a deck? That is not already powerful. We have creature flash.
We have so few creature flash that sticks around. Prophet of Kruphix, I mean, we have High Fate Trixie, yeah, but that's 4 mana, and you already don't see it much anymore. It's 4. Yeah, and you don't even see, that doesn't even get seen play. And then so Prophet of Kruphix is 2 different colored pips with 3 extra mana. So it's definitely a bigger investment than just, you know, obviously we could cheat it in. But I do think that, like, it could just like how with you're saying Ancestral Recall can be on probation. I think we could put it on probation.
Okay, touche.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Obviously, Griselbrand, which I really do think Griselbrand is going to get unbanned just because they talked about it in J-Lo. Would love to see J-Lo back. I'm a little different on the opinion about Mana Crypt. I do think that we will have a chance to have it come back. The main reason why is because WotC as a company, as much as most people hear from them that they want to care about the community, they're going to care about sellability more. And the biggest sellable item was Mana Crypt at the time. and even then, like the way the bracket systems have now, like we're able to get these crypts and J-Lo's unbanned, and it won't be an issue because like most of the people that was around for what happened with the, you know, CAG and the RC, they're gone mostly. You know, you gotta think about it, like with the format of CDH, how many people are still here from the old days?
I think if it was money related, they would already unban it.
Well, they haven't. I mean, if it was money related, they would have unbanned Dockside because they had Dockside in the Airbender set. I don't think it's money related. I think it's their, so just the way my personal opinion is, they're trying to be careful on their unbans just to see how it's gonna work. And also, like, obviously the death threats was a problem. And let me be the first to tell you, if you was one of the people that sent a death threat to any of the members of the RC or the CAG before they disbanded, you are what's wrong with our format. You are what's wrong with why we are having to deal with these things today. That is toxic. That is inhumane. That is horrible. Doxing and threatening somebody's life should never be an option if you hear something you don't like just because you wanted to invest in a card that's not even able to be recognized on the secondhand market from the company it makes it. Yeah. You know,
so true.
It's very true. But these are just like hot takes from I guess I'm an old head now. Like, would you consider me an old head? I don't know. I'm 3rd generation CDH, but I feel like I've put enough experience, like, you know. And it's weird, too. Like, I'm seeing a lot of these newer players, and they're playing some decks that I've played against a long time, and it's crazy to think that, you know, it almost puts me back where I now realize why people would get frustrated with me whenever I would try to brew a deck when I was newer versus now, because I see the reasoning, you know. Like a lot of cards, like don't get me wrong, I'm a very big advocate of brewing. Like if you want to try a new card, test a new card out. I test out some off the wall cards sometimes that makes this man over here like want to smack me silly. We've gone rounds and rounds and rounds whenever we brew a deck together.
No.
You
Every
know,
card should be tested.
yeah.
I'll never gatekeep a card, but do understand when you finish testing it and you don't push a bad card. That's what people really hang on to. If the card is bad, accept it within yourself. The card is bad and move on.
Mm-hmm. Like Heartwood Storyteller.
Hey, some people die and raised by that card. Some people say it's bad. I personally don't know.
It is for what you want out of it, it's a very good card because you can turn you who's out of the game. You slam that Heartwood Storyteller, especially if you're like a majorly creature deck that doesn't play a lot of non-creatures, so you're not feeding your opponents are feeding you. I can see why it's broken, but more times than not, it's the cause of draw.
I am not in the company of drawing my opponent's cards.
No.
It's why I don't like wheels, but it's a necessary evil to play at least one wheel in your deck.
I don't think so. I think that like depending on your game plan, like there's a lot of cards that if you just had a new hand you would win, but playing a wheel wasn't it, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think advantage engine, we need to try out more advantage engines, but people, like, and that's the biggest thing. Like we talked about unbannings and unbannings. Like people are so stuck upon Rhystic Study and Mystical More for card draw engines that a lot of the other engines aren't being used. Like, yeah, we see like Esper Sentinel, Wan Shi Archivist. But you remember when One Ring first came out, it was a hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I still preach that One Ring is a good card in CDH. But because of what we do now, it's seen as a bad card because, like, well, it's not Rhystic Study. You don't immediately draw multiple cards as soon as you cast it. You're not able to clone it, And so that segues into our next topic is what would you see ban if you could, if you had to choose a ban? What card would you see ban?
Wow. If I could choose a card, what card would I want to see back? I would want to see back. I don't think Breach is a problem. I don't think Brain Freeze is the problem either. It's either or. Sorcerer's is not even a problem either. I would want to see LED.
Okay. So take it back.
Tainted Pact is a safe choice for your Sorcerer combo.
Okay.
You can use Tainted Pact outside of that combo. Tainted Pact is a forbidden tutor. Consult is more backbreaking.
Yeah. Like when you get blown out using a console, you
can lose a game without you can lose the game by just exiling the whole library. You can lose the game by the card being on the bottom, or you can win the game because the card was where you wanted it to be. It's a high risk, high reward card, and that's why I enjoy it. Yeah. But I think Tainted Pact is too safe of a card. So Tainted Pact and I think LED. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it should be Brain Freeze. Whatever weaponizes Breach that is not Breach.
It's. I don't think it's LED. Like obviously it's 100% Brain Freeze because like you take away the thing that mills you cards like instantly, and you don't have to like dig and go through lines. Like if we ban Brain Freeze, and I'll even add in Flusterstorm and other storm cards, and here's why. Because a big thing now that Dockside's gone is people using Storm Killing Artists.
Tell me about it. That card dies on sight for no reason.
Because you play one Flusterstorm, you're winning the game because you know how infinite mana base.
But people gotta play the game for that to happen, right?
No, not necessarily.
No?
Like I said, you go through a Breach combo with a Ska out, all you have to do is Brain Freeze one time. Now you have infinite mana. You ain't got to worry about what you want to do. You can. It makes it like Brain Freeze is such an enabler for a lot of strategies now that it's almost like now you're having to worry about the storm triggers. And I would say if you're gonna ban a Breach combo card, it's gonna be Brain Freeze over LED because LED you can still do things. So let's say you crack your LED and you go to tutor again. Tutor on the stack, I'm gonna destroy your Underworld Breach. You know how you have any cards in hand, you don't have any mana right now because you cracked your LED, you didn't make the right mana because you had to play the red spell or whatever tutor you needed, and now you're stuck, not able, you can get blown out. But if you Brain Freeze, it doesn't matter if what I destroy because you can now still Brain Freeze into getting the Breach back.
True. Okay. You make a good point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
for me, like I said, brain freeze. If we have to hit a breach line. Now, I'm not saying brain freeze like outright for in general purposes should go. I think brain freeze is a fine card. But if we're talking about like breach combo without getting rid of breach, yeah, brain freeze is the card. For me, I will say a lot of big bans that should happen. Very hot take is a lot of the Grixis turbo wins that just pulls out the win on turn 2. I'm gonna say that Thoracle could take a ban here because we still have win the game instead of lose the game replacement effects like Laboratory Maniac and the blue Narset or the blue Jace. I don't want to say Jace the Mind Sculptor or something like that. It's a Jace Planeswalker card that if you go to draw a card you win. Or like even in Rogishai where y'all just Angel's Grace and will everybody with an empty library, you're able to win without Thoracle. But I think with the enabling of just you don't do anything but play a land, a rock, and a land, and you can win turn 2 because it's just luck of the draw. That's where it gets to being where it's toxic almost.
Here's why I didn't want to say Thoracle, right? Because if you take away Thoracle, Dimir does not have a way to win. Let me be honest.
It still does. It does.
As
Dimir...
someone who played Lamban as a win condition, I hated it. I think that's why.
You now have more things to do in Dimir with these newer cards. You can Hull Breacher, Bowman. You can do your Aetherflux lines. You can do,
Aetherflux. Bro, haven't heard that card in a minute. What's an Aetherflux? Aetherflux Reservoir? My goodness.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, people are slowly bringing back Bosa Citadel. And so, like, I mean, yes, Thassa's Oracle gives you an I win the game early button for sure, but I think that the enabling of it has caused a lot of these, like, and let's be honest, decks that shouldn't be at the table able to sit at the table because they can mulligan for tutors and a Thoracle or tutors and one of the 2 forbidden tutors and just win the game turn 2, turn 3, doing nothing, just playing lands or rocks and pass.
Yeah. You're right.
Like I want to see not necessarily a slower CDH game, but I want to sit down and be able to still, like, you can still be a turbo deck and win turn 3, turn 2, but I want to see it just not be a sloppy, I drew the card. I like a good game. Whether it ends turn 2 or not, if it's a good game, I want to see it. Like, I've never been mad.
You want to put spells together to see the win. You don't want to just see A, B, and win the game. Okay.
Yeah, and that kind of shows in the decks I build. A lot of them are layered combo decks. Like, Rocco, yes, one Rocco tutor, I'm winning the game, but I'm also having to figure out, interaction points and where I need to pivot to and this and that. And, so it's like, I don't know. I think
that's fair. That's okay. That's okay not to know. But I think these are some good points. And we'll see when is the thingy, the announcement?
June 30th is the new ban and restrictions update. If we see anything for Commander, it'll be June 30th.
Okay, so 9 days. All right, cool.
9 days?
9 days. So, yeah, we're here again. First episode. We're going to wrap it up. This was a lovely talk. I think we had solid topics that we might revisit again as a episode in itself, but I'm Jamaican Dude.
Weast Games.
And that's us as Dix. I'm at Dix Return. See you next time.
See you next time, guys.